is at a fever pitch over President Obama's upcoming speech to the nation's school children. Now, the White House says he'll talk about the importance of staying in school and working hard. But some parents and administrators say the president is using the chance to make a political speech. With me now is Ryan Valentine from the Texas Freedom Network. He is a parent who supports the speech. Also with us, Michael Knowles, a parent who's on the advisory council of the San Antonio Tea Party group, who is against the speech. Gentlemen, good to have you. Michael, I'll start with you. I understand that your group staged a protest in San Antonio against the president's speech. If the White House, as the White House has said, this is not a policy speech, why the objections?
Well, thank you for having us. We're not really opposed to the president's speech as it's written. If it's just about staying in school, we think it's a good idea for him to tell kids that. It's very important for kids to stay in school and get a good education.
And that is what we're hearing from the White House is essentially the heart of the message. What are you upset about then?
Well, from the Department of Education, the things that the teachers were supposed to tell the kids before and after the speech, where they asked the children to write their feelings about what the president wants them to do and how they feel about that, we just don't feel that that's appropriate for the president to be asking and the Department of Education to be asking our kids to do.
And have you heard, Michael, that they've made a change apparently? There was part of this lesson plan that you're talking about. They've made a suggestion for teachers to write letters, for students to write letters asking what they can do to help the president, but that's been changed now.
Right, they did take that out thanks to parents calling and people questioning that. But the thing you have to ask is, if it was okay to put it in there in the first place, why did they take it out?
Mm-hmm. Ryan?
And why did they put it in there in the first place?
Ryan, how do you respond to that?
Well, I'm glad to hear that Michael isn't opposed to the president going into our schools and telling kids to take their studies seriously. I'm sympathetic with any parent who wants to be sure what their kids are hearing in the classroom is appropriate. But this whole thing is really, I think, a tempest in a teapot. There's a few parents that have gotten upset, and there's a lot of rumors spreading about what may or may not have been the content of the speech. And the president has agreed, as I understand it, to release the text of the speech next Monday to allay those fears. And I think most parents are like me. They're generally supportive of the president and want our kids, like my third grader that I sent off to school this morning, to get the chance to hear from him.
Ryan, will you take a look at that speech when it is released online?
I will. I encourage all parents to take seriously what their kids learn in public schools. I think that's something we can all agree on.
Michael, will you take a look at that speech online on Monday?
Yes, I'll definitely be watching the speech, and I look forward to reading the transcript of the speech as well.
And so if you're pleased with what you see in the transcript, if you feel that it's not a policy speech, as the White House says it will not be, then will you allow your children to go to school, and will you support them viewing this speech?
Well, our independent school district is not going to be showing it. They're going to be showing it on their website, so that's not a problem at our school. But the problem is when the school districts allow the teachers to make the decision and leave it into the hands of them, that's where the problem lies. When you have 50 or 60 different teachers making separate decisions, are they going to be judged by their peers if they choose not to show the speech in their class?
I'm curious if either of you have spoken to your own kids about the upcoming speech and your thoughts. Ryan?
I have. I talked to my son on the way out the door this morning when I dropped him off to third grade. He'd already heard about it. We got a note home from our school district last night informing us they will be watching it. He's very excited to hear what the president has to say, and I'm excited that he's taking an interest in being a good citizen, and I really don't. I think most parents understand. The president just wants to encourage folks, students, to do well in school.
Michael, have you talked to your children about it?
Yes, I have a 10-year-old who's in 6th grade and a 14-year-old who's in 9th grade, and I've spoke to both of them about it. And I will let my children watch it as long as they're with me so we can discuss it and take it from there.
All right, very interesting. Michael Knowles, Ryan Valentine, thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
New today, a website often